up on some of the points made by Deputy Stanley. I think it is a disgrace that we're discussing this, rammed in a half an hour the day before the recess. No disrespect to this minister, but the fact that the Minister for the Environment isn't present for a discussion on the biggest challenge facing our country and our planet is a little bit gobsmacking, to be honest about it. Now, this amendment is an absolutely critical addition to the bill, in our opinion. What it seeks to do and what it's about is national emissions reduction targets, and Ireland playing a role of leading the way in tackling climate change. And in order to be able to formulate an action plan for implementing climate change recommendation, well then, mitigation, we absolutely need a reference point to start from so that we can measure our progress against it. Now, last year at the UN Climate Summit in New York in September, the Taoiseach said long-term objectives for 2050 of an 80% reduction across electricity, transport and the built environment. But this bill doesn't have any reference to any targets whatsoever. The closest the bill comes to mentioning a target is the new amendment number 17 that the Minister is putting forward, which would change the bill to the effect that when the government has drawn up its action plan in a few years' time, that ye shall, while making sure that all measures are cost effective, have regard to the policy of the government on climate change. That's all it says. So the official government policy published around the time of the first draft of this bill, which was that we were in pursuit of a low-carbon Ireland by 2050, the government shall endeavour to secure an aggregate reduction in carbon dioxide emissions of at least 80% compared to 1990 levels by 2050 across electricity generation, the built environment and transport sectors, and in parallel an approach to carbon neutrality in the agriculture and land use sector, including forestry, which does not compromise capacity for sustainable food production. Now, we take that statement and we need to clarify a few things. Firstly, this is not an airtight commitment to a 2050 target. And even if it could be construed as such, the government policy only references carbon dioxide and none of the highly dangerous greenhouse gases listed in our amendment, which Deputy Wallace read at the start. In the first 2 decades after its release, methane is 84 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Both types of emissions must be addressed if we want to effectively reduce the impact of climate change. And if you don't include our amendment, you won't be doing that. Now, at committee stage, there were a whole plethora of amendments which were ruled out of order because they made reference to emission reduction targets, and it was argued, I might say without any supporting documentation or argument whatsoever, that reduction targets cost the Exchequer money and that opposition TDs aren't allowed to put forward amendments which cost the Exchequer money.
It's reached the time of 7 o'clock. Can I ask you to move the adjournment of the debate, please?
I so move, Count Cor.